Hello, and welcome to the video. Since I've been doing some Frostgrave miniatures and terrain lately, I thought that it would be fun to do some winter-themed bases, and I wanted to share with you 3 different ideas on what you can use as well. Now for this first one, I admit that this is an experiment, so I'm not 100% certain how it's going to come out. But I'm thinking of doing like an icy lake that the miniatures might be standing on. So I thought at first I would grab some white paint and just paint like some reflections underneath the ice, maybe just some white lines. I wasn't really sure how this was gonna go, but I just thought, hey, I'm gonna start it and see what we end up with. But my thought process on this is to put the reflections underneath and then put a translucent blue over top. So once I put in a few of these white lines, I went ahead and grabbed a lighter blue and did the same thing and just added a few of them. Once I got a few of the blue lines on, I went over it with this dark transparent blue. I just put a thin coat over it and I'm going to set it aside to dry. Now while that one's drying, I'm just going to grab a few different shades of gray. And what I want to do here is paint like cobblestones on. And this is something that I've done previously with some of my board games and other miniatures, and it really looks cool. It's kind of fun to do, to pick out different shades. For Frostgrave themed and to keep it kind of winter and frozen, I chose a few colors of gray, and the one is almost like a bluish color, so I thought that would look kind of cool with the frozen landscape theme here. But you could tailor the colors to whatever your battle mat is. You're playing something that's in the desert, you could certainly switch it up to different shades of brown or beige for your cobblestones. And another thing is you can paint them as bricks, you could paint them as more round stones, sort of whatever pattern is going to fit in with your gaming board. And this is, as I said, this is kind of relaxing to do. I really enjoy doing it, and if you mess anything up, you can simply go over it with a little bit of black paint, paint your lines back in. I'm just going to let this play on because I found it really relaxing to paint these stones on. So I'll leave it on here if you want to enjoy watching it, or if you want to skip ahead to the next step, that's totally fine. And as you can see, I'm just kind of alternating the different shades back and forth. I'm not even cleaning my brush in between whenever I change colors. And I'm just trying to stagger the cobblestones so that they don't look like they're all in a straight row or anything. But yeah, I'm just kind of relaxing here, you know, zoning out, painting these in. And you can certainly do this after the miniatures are even glued on here, if that's how you prefer to paint. Sometimes I glue my miniatures on first and then do all the priming and painting and such. But it's really not a big deal to go around their feet and do this. But yeah, I really enjoy this technique, and I think it adds a lot of character to the bases. And since I wasn't cleaning my brush in between switching colors, I noticed that I could use that to add a little bit of different coloration to the bricks and add maybe a little bit of reflection on the edges, or just lighten them up some, just to add a little bit more characteristic to them. Now I'm going to come back to the ice one and do a quick little dry brush of white over top of these lines. As you can see, it kind of went really dark on me. And after this dry brush here, I'm just going to take some of that white and hit some of the lines again to brighten them back up. As I said, this one is total experimentation. I was trying to go for an ice look to it, but I'm not sure about this. And then to finish it up, I put a coat of gloss varnish on it because I thought, you know, it's ice, it should be nice and shiny. There should be a shimmer to it. So I just went ahead and put a nice coat of gloss varnish over this, and we're going to let this dry completely. Okay, for the last one, I wanted to do a snow base. So I just put down a general base of coarse sand first, and we're going to use some baking soda, some Elmer's glue, and some white paint. The white paint, I just wanted to help enhance the color a little bit, and I'm going to put out some baking soda first. And then I'm going to put in a little daub of the white paint, and then probably just as much, if not more, of the PVA glue, because this is going to be the main part of it. And I'm just going to start mixing all 3 of them together until it's a consistency of like a really thick paste. I don't want it to be dry, but I don't want it to be a liquid either. It's almost like a dough, if you will, maybe a little bit more wet than what a regular bread dough would be. But that's what we're looking for here. Once I get them all mixed up, I'm just going to take an old brush and I'm just gonna gob it onto the base where I want it. I want some of the gravel or the dirt to show through. I didn't want a solid sheet of snow on here. Now you could certainly do that if that's what you're looking for, but I kind of wanted it patches of snow. So I left a little bit of the underneath showing through, but we're just gonna kind of gob it on there. And by doing this, it shouldn't run anywhere. It shouldn't be that liquidy, and it should kind of stay where you put it. And once I'm happy with how this looks, I'm just gonna set it aside and let it dry for a couple of hours. All right, so we got all 3 of them finished, and I wanna take a closer look at each one of them. Starting with the ice base. Now the ice base, I think it has potential, but I wish I would have maybe done a bluer color underneath. It's too dark. I think it looks almost black, and I think that it should have been a dark blue instead. I'd like to try this again and see what kind of results I could get. Moving on to the snow base, this one might be my favorite base. I think the snow came out really cool looking. This is the first time that I tried putting white paint in with the mix, but I think it looks fantastic. I think it would look great with a squad or unit of miniatures, and it was really easy to do, so definitely one of my favorite bases here. Now, moving on to the cobblestones, I've used this before. I think this looks great, it's easy to do, and it's kind of fun, and it adds a lot of characteristics for any kind of city terrain that you might be in, or if you're in a dungeon maybe. But yeah, definitely something that I'll use again. Now, I just wanted to show you guys, after I was done filming, I went back and used a fine tip Sharpie, and I actually drew in some cracks to show that the cobblestones were broken apart a little bit. I think it adds a lot more detail, and it's something that's quick and easy to do. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. I think that the snow base might be my favorite, but I also like the cobblestone one. I want to try the ice one again and see if I can improve that in some way. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.